Well, it's here. It's finally here. The remastered, expanded, deluxe, glittery with a sparkle on top 1999 album with outtakes, extras, liner notes, live recordings and a DVD. It is without any question whatsoever time to party like it's 2019. This is the first of 6 reviews for the 5 CDs and 1 DVD that comprise this project. 1 review every day this week. This deluxe set, released on the 29th of November 2019, has an amazing array of permutations. You can order the single 1 CD remastered edition, the 2 CD remastered edition, the 2 LP edition in purple vinyl, the 5 CD and 1 DVD deluxe edition, the 4 LP deluxe edition, or the ultimate 10 LP and DVD super deluxe edition. So the wide array of choices is certainly there. Let's give a quick rundown of what each disc has to offer. This is the 5 CD version, which would be the 10 LP version. On disc 1 we have the original album 2019 Paisley Park Remasters, 1999, Little Red Corvette, Delirious, Let's Pretend We're Married, DMSR, Automatic, Something in the Water Does Not Compute, Free, Lady Cab Driver, All the Critics Love You in New York, and International Lover. On disc 2 there are promo mixes and B-sides. We have the 7-inch stereo edit of 1999, the 7-inch mono promo only edit of 1999, the promo only edit of Free, How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, Little Red Corvette with the 7-inch edit, the 7-inch edit of All the Critics Love You in New York, the 7-inch edit of Lady Cab Driver, the dance remix promo only edit of Little Red Corvette, the special dance mix, one of my favourites, of Little Red Corvette, the 7-inch edit of Delirious. We have Horny Toad, the 7-inch edit of Automatic, the video version of Automatic, the 7-inch edit of Let's Pretend We're Married, the 7-inch mono promo only edit of Let's Pretend We're Married, Irresistible Bitch, the video version of Let's Pretend We're Married, and the edit of Dance, Music, Sex, Romance. Now disc 3 is where it gets really interesting. These are vault tracks recorded between November 1981 to April 1982, and we have some great new and previously unreleased songs in here. We have Feel You Up, which obviously later appeared around the 1989 Batman era. We have Irresistible Bitch, Money Don't Grow on Trees, Vagina, Rearrange, Bold Generation, Colleen, International Lover, Take 1, Turn It Up, You're All I Want, Something in the Water Does Not Compute, If It'll Make You Happy, and How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, Take 2. Disc 4 continues with the vault tracks, recorded between April 1982 to January 1983, and contains Possessed, Delirious, the full-length version, Purple Music coming in at nearly 11 minutes, Yeah, You Know, Moonbeam Levels, No Call You, Can't Stop This Feeling I Got, Do Yourself a Favour, Don't Let Him Fool Ya, Teacher Teacher, and the Lady Cab Driver, I Wanna Be Your Lover, Little Red Corvette tour demo, coming in at about 7 minutes. Disc 5 is a live album of the performance at Masonic Hall, Detroit, Michigan, on the 30th of November 1982, The Late Show. And on that amazing performance we have Controversy, Let's Work, Little Red Corvette, Do Me Baby, Head, Uptown, Lisa's Keyboard Interlude, How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, Automatic, International Lover, 1999, and DMSR. And then finally, the final day of reviews, we will look at the DVD live at the Summit in Houston, Texas on the 29th of December 1982, in which Prince performs Controversy, Let's Work, Do Me Baby, DMSR, the Keyboard Interlude, Piano Improvisation, How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, Lady Cab Driver, Automatic, International Lover, 1999, and rounds off the performance with a stirring rendition of Head. Now I have to say the new design for the album cover is really pretty cool, utilising the original design but with a rather sparkly metallic snow-like design which makes it feel even more of a Christmas present. The LP comes in a nice sturdy folder and has some beautiful Alan Bolio photographs, some of Prince's handwritten lyrics which bring a certain intimacy to the project, alongside images of the original tape reels. The set also contains liner notes from Rolling Stone critic David Fricke, Guns N' Roses bassist Duff McKagan, Andrea Swenson, a personal favourite of mine, who is a Minneapolis radio host and author of the excellent There's Got to Be Something Here, detailing the rise of the Minneapolis sound, and Prince scholar and author Dwayne Tudal, the author of the remarkably forensic and fascinating Purple Rain Sessions book. They have done a great job here, and there is so much to unpack, but let's take a look at each of the 5 discs, or 10 LPs if you prefer. Bear in mind that the total running time of this package is a little under 6 hours. Just before I begin, I just want to make clear this won't be a full review of every single song, as a number will already be familiar and will be covered in other relevant reviews, but I will take a more in-depth look at the previously unheard material and new aspects to this remarkable set, stunning in both its ambition and its musical breadth. There will continue to be so much more to enjoy and absorb over the coming weeks and months, and this is just the very lightest touch of what there is. The first disc is a brand new 2019 Paisley Park remaster of the original album. The very first point I'd like to make is that I think, certainly to my ears, they've done a really pretty decent job of this. The sounds sound crisp, the background musical accompaniment is actually a fair bit more noticeable and heightened, especially on headphones. The little touches and flourishes on 1999 bring a real full depth of sound and a vibrancy that you do have to remind yourself just how old this track really is. Of course, this wasn't an album that perhaps needed the kind of work that Sign of the Times may well need later, but that's another conversation for another time. Here, the drum beats, hand claps and vocals are certainly sonically pretty spot on. You easily get caught up in the frenetic pace of the title track, and the chicken grease guitar sounds utterly crystal clear. The title track 1999 sounds better than it ever has. Little Red Corvette has always had a slightly dreamy, deep, bassy feel, and that is retained here. It, alongside the title track, was the huge breakthrough track for Prince in a new world of television and MTV. No matter how many times you've heard this track, you cannot but be astounded by its perfect pop construction. Time and time again on this deluxe package, you have to remind yourself that Prince turned just 23 in 1991 and 24 in 1982 when many of these tracks were composed and created. It is simply almost overlooked and forgotten just what a true musical prodigy Prince always was. The drum programming rockabilly swag of Delirious, with its almost carnival-like squeaking synth lines, is as fun as it ever was. The remastering sounds well done without being overblown, and it breaks Prince's often used trick of placing a ballad in the 3rd track position. One of the things that often throws people when they first discover this album is that whilst it's a double album, there are only 11 songs. It's just that this was the first real on-record example of Prince fully extending these tracks into a joyful exploration of themes. Prince was utterly fearless and included the 7 minutes 20 version of Let's Pretend We're Married, the 8 minutes 18 of DMSR, the crazy 9 minutes 26 of Automatic, and the luxurious 6 minutes 38 of International Lover. Let's Pretend We're Married shows what all the parents had heard. Prince needs to know if you're free for the next 7 years. The scream at around 4 minutes 20 is simply one of his best, and well, the last 2 minutes sound so good, even clearer than before. That's before we get into the lustful denouement where Prince wants to, well, let's just say it involves replacing the taste in your mouth. The final chorus of chants is a perfect Prince mantra, ending with Prince declaring he's off to another life. How about you? DMSR has always been a strange track for me, as the first time I heard the album, it was on a CD and this track had been omitted to make the other songs fit onto the disc, so hearing it for the first time a few months afterwards always seemed to make it special. It is the perfect encapsulation of Prince's entire philosophy at the time: dance music, sex, romance, stripped down to your lingerie in a restaurant. Prince declares he doesn't want to be a poet or win awards, he simply wants to play music, sex, romance and try his best to never get bored. The sticky, funky chicken grease sounds sublime as Prince declares that all the white people should clap on the floor. The bass works are so underrated, and the track ends with the harrowing female screams for help. Automatic, the longest track on the album, has always had a bit of a feel of some kind of what I would imagine to be out-of-body experience or hallucinogenic experience. It's dark and still a touch muddy in the mix, almost a little dirty and growling. The track practically descends into madness as Prince's lustful longings unravel and his barriers disappear to form a stream of consciousness that shows the kind of abandon that makes for a truly great Prince track. There is no sense whatsoever of a performer simply performing a track here. This is a desperate, visceral, wounding, painful devotion and unbridled obsession breaking free. The musical maturity and genius is simply innate. No one could ever teach something like this. Prince had gifts, and whilst he worked incredibly hard to develop them, they were almost divine. At around 4 minutes 45, Prince uses a voice filter and launches into a spoken word seduction that just breaks him. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to torture you now. Prince is pouring genius out of a bottle bigger than anyone has ever owned. And this is the point about this album. This isn't even one of the most well-known tracks, and yet it's genius. Enjoy the guitar and background vocals as they build to a stunning crescendo before Prince breaks it all down again. Whew. Something in the Water does not compute could possibly be one of my favourite tracks from this era. Its futuristic, techno, experimental, minimalist, stark brilliance is a joy to behold. From the keyboard waves crashing and rising, the soul-shattering screams, the earnest, open pleading, the sonically stunning vocals, it is pure, unhinged, heart-pounding genius. The screams at 2 minutes 45 just go right through you. One of the absolute highlights of Prince's 2014 hit and run tour, I was joy-filled to welcome the return of this track. No one ever has sounded like this. Original, bold, crazy, brilliant. In many ways, Free is a track that stands out on this album from all the others. Delicate, balladic, and with more than a hint of the beautiful ones from Purple Rain at the beginning, and then building up to an all-out screaming, wailing, existential prayer to freedom. It is political without being explicit, stirring without being preach-filled. The rising guitar at 3 minutes gives a great foundation for the rising crescendo of vocals. It sounds great in this version, although the change isn't hugely dramatic, but the piano swells sound crisp and clear and heightened. Free was a song that Prince did perform throughout his career, but it actually feels very much like a track where the studio version is so hard to beat. Be glad for what you have, baby, what you got. Lady Cab Driver has always for me displayed the musical intelligence and innate sense that Prince seemed to find so natural. A complex drum arrangement interspersed with a light, restrained falsetto, aided by a real bass-filled pulse. Prince's seeming loneliness as he asks if he can use his tears to pay the fare. The track has a truly dark side from about 3 minutes 11 onwards, as Prince thrusts his vocals with a list of desires, ranging from love without sex to why he wasn't born like his brother, handsome and tall, all to a background of female moaning which strides the divide from sexual to painful and has been interpreted in many different ways. There was a real sense of the danger that Prince pulled into his music at the time, and the feeling of virtually no boundaries or limits. At around 5 minutes in the guitar chords, they just sound so full and growling, and the keyboard solo at 5 minutes 40, bouncing alongside the guitar flailing, is pure rock, pop, funk, fusion joy. All the Critics Love You in New York has always had an intriguing, almost cocky, thought-provoking manner to it. The reason that you're cool is because you're from the old school, and they know it. The production sounds clear and the guitar groans and growls work very effectively on this mastering. Body Don't Wanna Quit, Gotta Get Another Hit is Prince summed up succinctly. The Police-like megaphone reference to masturbation is still hilarious, never sounded better. It's interesting to hear how much of the background noodling and instrumentation that the mastering really brings to the fore. This is your Captain Prince speaking, and this luxurious ballad is fascinating to hear on this set in different versions. The remastering of the original allows you to fully hear every sensual squeak and sexual murmur. International Lover is Prince's classic monster ballad and builds from the idea of Do Me Baby from the previous album. Prince's vocals here are falsetto heaven, baritone bravado, and the way he oscillated between the entire, almost infinite levels of his range has to be heard to be believed. The way Prince builds up this track just after 3 minutes and then almost orgasmically brings it down just after 3 minutes to ride waves of erotic foreplay, sensual toying and classic humour. In the event of overexcitement, your seat cushion can be used as a flotation device. At around 4 minutes 30, Prince builds the wave sonically again. The original idea for the tour was for an air hostess played by Jill Jones to relax in a reclining chair whilst Prince serenaded her. The last 30 seconds deliver you satisfaction. Thank you for flying Prince International. In conclusion, these are songs that we all know and love and adore from 1999 and fully remastered to give a crisp, full, clear sound. It's a huge call and I will probably going to regret this, but I genuinely think that whilst Purple Rain gets all the attention, 1999 is even more fascinating. From the long extended pieces, the anthemic apocalyptic fire of 1999, the intoxicating electric seduction of Little Red Corvette, the fun of Delirious and DMSR, the irresistibly noble heart of Free, the complexity and intrigue of Lady Cab Driver and All the Critics Love You in New York, the almost embarrassingly sexy International Lover, the genre-breaking staccato bursts of Something in the Water, the jaunty yet menacing Let's Pretend We're Married, to the almost hallucinogenic trip of the unwinding, mesmeric Automatic. This is an album high on talent, genius, musicianship, inspiration, and works at multiple levels. I repeat once more that Prince was in his early to mid-20s, and yet music such as this makes you question if this were truly his first musical life, because otherwise he simply looks otherworldly in his scope, his vision, and his ability. Next we will look at Disc 2. Thank you for listening.